Good afternoon, everybody. This is indeed the Michael K. Show. We thank you for joining us on this Friday. It's October 10th, 2025. Me and you against the world for the next 2 hours. Looking forward to going over everything that's going on in the world of sports. Obviously, still a spillover with the Yankees' disappointing end to their season, losing to the Blue Jays in 4 games in their best of 5. But, we have something that we could be happy about in New York. Did you watch the Giants last night? Did you watch them? I mean, they really looked terrific. There's no other way to put it. They looked absolutely terrific. Jaxson Dart looks like a real quarterback. They converted on third down constantly, which is unbelievable. 11 for 16 converting third downs. 3 for 3 in the red zone. And Dart looks like he has an idea. I'm not saying that he's Patrick Mahomes, but he's better. Let's be honest. He's better than Eli was at the beginning of Eli's career. And I'm not going to say he's going to be better than Eli because that would be folly. To me, Eli is a Hall of Famer. But Eli struggled mightily when they sat down Kurt Warner. He looked lost. He looked like he was going to get killed. Looked like a deer in the headlights. Any other cliche you'd like to apply, that's what Eli looked like. Jaxson Dart does not look that way. Jaxson Dart seems smooth. Seems like he has a clue. 20-yard run yesterday. I mean, take a look at the numbers. They're not jaw-dropping numbers, but there aren't mistakes in there. 17 for 25, 195 yards. Again, he looked terrific. And they beat the Eagles 34-17. Need you be reminded that the Eagles are the defending Super Bowl champs, and the Giants cannot beat them. They have not been able to beat them for the last decade. They've lost 16 of 20 games to the Eagles in the last 10 years. They've lost 7 of their past 8 before they won last night. And on top of that, the Giants can't seem to beat any NFL East teams. Lost 8 straight before last night. Did something click in that made it all come together? So the combination of Jaxson Dart and Cam Scatterbo, who had 19 carries for 98 yards and 3 touchdowns, it actually gave the Giant faithful something to feel good about. Now, you know me. I try to say I'm a glass half full guy. But also there's times that I lapse into a glass half empty. So when I see them play the way they did last night, the thing that gets me, the thing that keeps me from really going over the top celebrating by the way they looked, if they had only beaten the Saints, a team they should have beaten. But again, growing pains for a quarterback. Dart turned the ball over without touching it, without being touched. 2 interceptions, a fumble by Scatterbo. The team 5 straight turnovers on 5 straight possessions. If they had beaten the Saints the way they should have beaten the Saints, you know where we'd be standing right now? We'd be able to dream. We'd be able to dream big dreams. The Giants would be 3-3. Instead, it's still an uphill climb at 2-4. But when you see them play this way and beat what I would admit, and Chris Sims said on the show yesterday, is a flawed Eagles team. But when you see them beat a team that was heavily favored in a nationally televised night game, which the Giants never win. Giants had not won on Thursday night, by the way, since 2015. When you see them do that, you don't have to settle for 4-13, despite their harsh schedule that they have. Because some of the teams that we looked at as, definite losses, maybe they aren't definite losses anymore. Not because the Giants are so good, but everybody in the NFL is struggling. The Chiefs are struggling. The Eagles now are struggling. Tell me the Giants can't beat the Cowboys the second time they play them. Now, unfortunately, they have to play the Eagles right away in a couple of weeks. But we'll see. The next time they play, they'll play the Broncos. And you say, well, they don't have a chance against the Broncos. But remember, the Broncos will be coming back from merry old England, where they'll play the Jets this Sunday. So there's no bye. The Broncos chose not to have a bye after that game. So they'll play the Giants. So dream a little. Maybe 7-10 is likely. Dream even bigger. Maybe 8-9 is likely. Now, things that concerned me yesterday. Jaxson Dart is fearless. Sometimes that's a good thing. And sometimes that's a bad thing. He had to go to the tent because it looked like his head almost snapped off. He runs without fear. He's going for the extra yard. He's not a quarterback that's going to slide. The NFL is unforgiving when it comes to quarterbacks that do that. There are very few that can run like that and not get hurt. Because sooner or later, you're going to get really dinged. Another thing I didn't like, we all talk about the safety of the players, right? Well, you saw Brian Dable screaming essentially at the Giant physician who had told him, I think he's okay. I think he's going to be okay. Well, Dable wanted him okay. So where was the overarching concern about, well, make sure he's okay before he wanted to call a timeout to get him in there for fourth down. That's why I always laugh. Oh, everybody's pulling to keep the players safe. The coaches need to win. And I give Dable credit because he apologized afterward. He said he apologized to the physician, the team doctor, and they hugged it out. But it was there for everybody to see. Face was getting all red. They're checking the guy out for a concussion. It takes a little bit longer than 5 seconds. But what was Dable's biggest concern? Getting him back in the game. Now, I understand there's a little gray area here. There's some nuance because the doctor did come out and say, I think he's going to be okay. Well, Dable didn't want to hear think he's going to be okay. He wanted him out. He wanted him out on the field. But that time that he did miss, boy, it told you the difference between Jaxson Dart and Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson came in, threw a third down pass, and bounced it. The crowd was booing. You could see why they made the change. Because, frankly, Jaxson Dart should be 3-0. Instead, he's 2-1 as a starter, but he should be 3-0. And the more he plays, and the more reps he gets, and the more he gets comfortable, he's going to get better. You could see why Dable fell in love with the guy. Now, I'm not going to make any grand proclamations that he's going to be the greatest quarterback of all time, but it's something. The Giants have not had that something for a while. For a little bit, it looked like Daniel Jones could be that something. Maybe. Turned out not to be. Maybe it'll turn out not to be with Jaxson Dart. But Jaxson Dart is so much more effusive, so much more endearing than, Daniel Jones, who's, kind of like a flatline sort of player. Jaxson Dart's not. The ridiculous eye black over his eye, I don't understand why he does that. He's demonstrative. He fires up his team. You can see his teammates respect him. And then there's Scatterbo. Did you see Scatterbo on the postgame show on Prime? Ripping his shirt open. Ryan Fitzpatrick did the same thing, both of them screaming at the top of their lungs. Now, you could be a complete lunatic, and if you can't play, you can't play. Cam Scatterbo showed in 2 separate colleges that he can play. And he lasted until the 4th round. And that's another guy that Dable loved. So they got him in the draft. Maybe this could be the thing that turns the Giants around. 2 dynamic players. And they got a little help, guy off the practice squad, little Jordan Humphrey. had 4 catches and 55 yards. And the Giant defense played well. Let's not forget that. They played well. Here's the strangest thing. So Barkley had 31 yards in his first 2 carries. And you kind of roll in your eyes and go, well, here we go. Here we go. He ended with 12 carries, 58 yards. Giants completely shackled him. And you can see what Chris Sims is talking about when it comes to Jalen Hurts. Had a wide open receiver for a bomb. He overthrew him. Just seems uncertain in throwing the ball. And the offense seems uncertain. And one of the touchdowns they scored, it was 4 straight tush pushes. That's another thing I want to hit on. I wonder if you people feel the same way. People, Mike Greenberg, who I love, apologized for people who had to sit through that. What was there to apologize about? It's football. So they ran 4 straight tush pushes. How did it work out? They scored. What's so boring about it? If they could gain 2.5 yards a carry on a tush push, which they can't, they'd run it all the time. 4 downs, 10 yards. Boom. 4 downs, 10 yards. They're going to do what works. Nothing else on their offense works that seamlessly if you're the Eagles. So, of course, you're going to have the tush push. It's amazing to me. I like to be entertained. I enjoy entertainment. I'm all about entertainment. I didn't find anything offensive about that. I didn't find anything like, I had to look away. It was so ugly. It's part of football. And the people that want it banned, why do you want it banned? Because you can't stop it? Because it's boring? I don't think it's boring. It's football. I think it's fascinating. How did they do it? Why can't it be stopped? Someday, somehow, somebody's going to find out a way to stop it, I would think. But I've gone off on many tangents. The biggest one is after a sobering Yankee loss, the Giants come back and give New York a little joy. I don't know if you guys saw the column by Mike Vaccaro on the Post today. Do you know we're closing in on 5,000 days since a team in the 4 major sports, so that's not counting soccer and it's not counting the WNBA, the 4 major sports that have been around since at least 1946, closing in on 5,000 days without a title. The last one was the Giants. That is a long stretch of ineptitude. And I don't think the Giants or the Jets are going to snap that this year. But maybe, just maybe, the Giants could make us feel something positive. Maybe they can entertain us every week. Because I don't see it happening with the Jets. The Jets are in London this week playing a Bronco team that's really, really good. Do we really think they're going to beat them? If not, they're going to be 0-6. Now, I want to shift for a moment because nobody in New York, after that 5,000 stat I just gave you, is going to feel sorry. But can you think of a city that had a worse day than Philadelphia had yesterday? And I'm not gloating about this because I'm a New Yorker that likes Philadelphia. I like the grittiness. I like the toughness. I like the cut of the fans' jib. Is it over the top? Yeah. But you know what? Sometimes we close our eyes to how maniacal we are in New York. I like Philly. I don't mind at all that the Eagles got knocked off. I picked the Phillies to beat the Dodgers. But did you see the end of that game? Bases loaded, bottom of the 11th inning. Orion Kerkering is on the mound. He gets Andy Pages to hit back to the box. He fumbles the ball. It's 2 outs, by the way. I don't think he realized there were 2 outs. I think he thought there might have been 1. And he scrambles after the ball. And you could see Real Muto pointing to first base to make the throw to first. He would have gotten the guy easily. For some reason, Kerkering came home with it to get the force at home. Threw the ball wildly. That was the end of the season. There's different reports out there. It's either the first time or the second time that a postseason series has ended on an error. And I felt so badly for Kerkering. I really did. That's something that he has to live with the rest of his life. A lot of people were texting me, don't they practice pitching fielding practice anymore? And I said, yeah, but you can't approximate bases loaded, season on the line, 11th inning on a backfield in Clearwater, Florida. You could practice that 8 days a week. And when it happens, it just becomes instinct or panic or whatever. And I got to love the way Kerkering handled it. Stood in front of his locker, obviously choked up, and did what he had to do, answered all the questions. Wasn't nasty about it, didn't turn his back on anybody. Completely the opposite of what Manny Machado did when the Padres were eliminated. And Manny Machado didn't make a glaring mistake, and still he was very, very nasty to the media that day. Kerkering is the guy who made the mistake. Kerkering is the guy who made the throw that ended the Philly season. And he was not short with his answers. He was not nasty. He did not blame the media. You think that he wants to answer questions at that point? His heart is broken. He did something that's probably going to stay with him the rest of his life. And Philadelphia can be tough. You think they ever forgave Mitch Williams for giving up the Joe Carter home run? I hope they forgive Kerkering. He's a young guy, put into a tough situation. They got a great start by Sanchez. And then Rob Thompson might have panicked a little bit with a 1-0 lead. He brought in his closer in the 7th inning, Johan Duran. And Duran ended up walking Mookie Betts with the bases loaded, tie the game at 1. That's what forced extra innings. And you can see the Dodgers, they're not the team they were last year, but boy, they know how to win. They know how to get outs, and somehow they cobble together a bullpen that's not great. Every guy that they signed during the offseason really didn't pan out. And their closer is now Roki Sasaki, the kid they signed from Japan as a starter. Missed most of the season, but now he's coming in the 9th inning. But they can only use him for 1 inning. And then the parade of relievers took over. And somehow they push the right buttons and they get it done. So now they await the winner of the Cubs in Milwaukee. Milwaukee had a 2-0 lead in games, and the series shifted to Wrigley, and the Cubs won the next 2. So it's 2-2. They go to Game 5 tomorrow in Milwaukee. And although the Cubs are good and Milwaukee is scrappy and good, I'm telling you, the Dodgers might be the first team to repeat since the Yankees. It can be done. They know how to win. And they got mixing and matching pieces that help them win. So congratulations to them. And I'm sorry to the city of Philadelphia. I can't even imagine what WIP is like today. And this Philadelphia Philly team, this could be the end of what we know as this team. It's an older team. Rio Muto is a free agent. Schwarber is a free agent. They're the first team, Jaxson Dart wrote today in The Athletic, the first team in baseball history to increase their win total 7 years in a row. They ran away with the National League East this year. And it looked like this was the year that they were going to get back to the World Series. But they lost Wheeler. But that's not why they lost this series. That's not why they lost this series. Their starting pitching was pretty good. They just didn't get the big hits. But Bryce Harper's getting older. They're probably going to want to trade Castellanos, who has a year left at $20 million. I'm not sure what kind of market there will be for him. But this is an aging team. It's going to be tough to keep it together. They have an owner that is dead set on winning a championship, Middleton. And he had an unbelievable line about spending money. He said, well, I could spend the money now and improve the team, or I could leave it for my great-great-grandchildren who I'll never meet. That's the type of owner he is. And they have a payroll that's north of $300 million too. And they have not been able to get it done. They have not been able to get it done. So Philadelphia, awful day. Awful day. New York, a pretty good day. A rare good day. Giants should be celebrated for knocking out the defending Super Bowl champions after a really tough loss to absorb last week. And on a short week, 3 days to prepare, Brian Daboll prepared them. One more aside. I love Al Michaels. I think Kirk Herbstreit is great. And it's not just them. Why can't the national broadcasters who cover NFL games, who broadcast the games, realize that the coach of the Giants, his name is Daboll, rhymes with table. He actually said that to me, Don, and Peter. We have it somewhere in the archives of the studio. He
table,
said,
like a table,
like table, and Al Michaels going Daboll, Herbstreit's going Daboll, and it's not just them. It seems like everybody. His name is Daboll. Why is that so hard? The guys in the studio shows, Daboll. It's not even guys at ESPN. It's Daboll, like table. How could you get the name of the New York Giant head coach so wrong over and over and over and over again? I don't understand it. And how is it not incumbent upon somebody from the Giants to tell them when they come in to talk to the coach, it's Daboll. It's so easy. Daboll rhymes with table. Daboll rhymes with table. Not Daboll. Drives me nuts. I know. I'm out of my mind. Why does that drive me nuts? I don't know why it drives me nuts. It drives me crazy, or crazier than usual. Be like calling Aaron Boone Aaron Boone. Find the name of the coach and pronounce it the right way. It's a New York Giant head coach. It's not the coach at North Dakota State. And I'm telling you what, if you were broadcasting the game where North Dakota State was playing, you'd find out how you pronounce the coach's name. That's one of the things we go over before every single first game of a series that the Yankees play. We go over every single name on the roster, including the coaches and the manager. We have a pronunciation guide, and we make sure that we know how to pronounce the name. But again, the head coach of the Giants, it's Brian Daboll, not Brian Daboll. Please stop. Getting too old to be aggravated like this. Please stop. All right, we got Jordan Raanan coming up in just a moment. He covers the Giants, so he'll give us the lay of the land with them. That'll come up in just a moment. Hey, getting the right mattress helps you sleep at night. Getting the right price helps you sleep even better. At PC Richard & Son, they don't just sell you a mattress. Their experts use a 4-step fitting process to make sure your new bed fits you perfectly. The right fit, the right price, plus free delivery. It's what they do. Only at PC Richard & Son. Free delivery of mattresses $199 and up. Excludes Manhattan. See stores for details.
Friday with Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg, a stunner in MetLife. Jaxson Dart and Cam Scatterbo led the Giants to an upset of the Eagles.
This is the greatest feeling in the world. And Rick, this is why you watch.
Is this the start of a turnaround?
good team win. Home crowd was awesome, but we got to give them a reason to be awesome too. So another good game by a rookie quarterback.
Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg today at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Ready to fire up your Saturdays? FanDuel's got a boost you don't want to miss. It's called Boosting with the Boys, and it's given everyone a college football profit boost every single week. So here's how it works. Each week, they're giving everyone a profit boost to use on college football. No opt-in gymnastics, no invite-only nonsense. Everyone gets the boost. We're talking real games, real teams, real Saturdays with an extra payout on the line. It's easy, it's fun, and it's only on FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com/Rick to download the app. Check out the Boosting with the Boys offer and get in on the action. Each week, they're giving everyone a profit boost to use on college football. No opt-in gymnastics, no invite-only nonsense. Everyone gets the boost. Must be 21 and older and physically present in New York. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions do apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467369.
At Uline, They know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. BetterHelp therapists have helped over 5 million people worldwide on their mental health journeys. That's millions of stories, millions of journeys, and behind every one is a therapist who showed up, listened, and helped someone take a step forward. Moments in therapy, like the right question, a safe space to cry, or a small win can change lives. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. And it works. With an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 for a live session based on over 1.7 million client reviews. This World Mental Health Day, we're celebrating the therapists who have helped millions of people take a step forward. If you're ready to find the right therapist for you, BetterHelp can help you start that journey. Our fans get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/timeout. That's BetterHelp.com/timeout.
My dad is bringing home the best birthday cake ever!
It was my 5th birthday, and my dad was bringing home the cake.
Should have been here a half hour ago.
The cake never made it, and neither did my dad.
911, what's your emergency?
That was the day a drunk driver killed my dad.
Daddy?
Impaired drivers take lives. Think.
Sponsored by the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee. Aired in cooperation with the New York State Broadcasters Association.
At City Harvest, we believe no New Yorker has to go hungry. With your help, we're on the road 365 days a year, rescuing over 77 million pounds of nutritious food and delivering it free to millions of New Yorkers, transforming surplus food into sustenance, sustainability, and smiles, rallying thousands of New Yorkers to power a network of nourishment across our city. One day, one meal, and one New Yorker at a time. That's how we feed good. Donate at cityharvest.org.
Score a win this game day with Amazon Pickup, the MVP of package pickup. Need that new football jersey for the big matchup? With Amazon Pickup, you can collect your order from secure Amazon lockers or counters near you on your schedule. Whether you're running from work or home or straight to the tailgate, Amazon Pickup makes it easy and worry-free at no extra cost. Don't miss kickoff. Grab your gear and your packages when it works for you. Find your nearest Amazon Pickup location at amazon.com/pickupmvp. That's amazon.com/pickupmvp.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-294-0222. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-294-0222. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-294-0222. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Big story today. Giants beating the Eagles last night at MetLife Stadium, finally winning a nationally televised night game. And he was there. He also has a book out on the Giants. His name is Jordan Raanan, and he joins us now. Obviously, he's with us here at ESPN. Jordan, first of all, thank you for coming on.
Of course, always.
And secondly, I'm wondering, was this just a blip where a bad team runs into something and gets an unlikely win, or is this the beginning of something good?
I think it's the beginning of something because we've now seen 3 games from Jaxson Dart, and all 3 of them you could sit there and watch and say there's good things. Like you could see a path to this guy being a super high level quarterback. I said on the DNR this morning, like his floor is already past Justin Fields in my mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he has that athleticism, maybe not quite as much, but he certainly throws the ball better and more accurately. So when Justin Fields has already proven he's gotten 3 chances to start in this league. So he's already above starter level with potential to go significantly higher. And to me, like that says, okay, you might have found something here, and that's what you build around this league. That's what they've been trying to find for however many years, right? 2018 in that Saquon draft really is when they've been starting to search at least. So we're 7 years.
It's odd when you watch him because he doesn't act so much like a rookie. He seems very cocksure, very confident, almost to the point of being cocky. How is he in the room? Is he that same way? Do they like him?
Yeah, he sort of has that new age arrogance, for lack of a better word. Like even though that comes off with a very negative connotation, right? But he really does, and like a lot of the Giants have said it. A bunch of players, coaches, he has that aura to him, right? And it's funny, Michael. So Joe Judge is essentially his quarterback coach in Ole Miss, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said to him, it was in January, and I said, well, what do I need to know about this guy? Because the Giants are looking at quarterbacks. And he kind of gave me the rundown. He's like, the NFL is going to go through the process. He's going to start as like a second-round pick. People are going to fall in love with him as the person. The way he works, the way he operates, his mindset, everything. And he's going to end up being a back end of the first-round pick. It's exactly what happened. And Brian Daboll, put him in that category, fell in love with the person just as much as the player, and that's why it's his guy. I don't know if you noticed, he was even talking about it after the game, and he's like, I love my quarterback. And he said, my quarterback. And then he quickly said, our quarterback.
Right. So he's all invested because, Jordan, let's be honest, Jaxson Dart is either going to save his job or lose him his job. This is the last chance saloon for Daboll.
100%. Yeah, we knew that. Like that's how the situation was set up, and that was going to be the card they played here, and that's what they did. And now, look, if he shows enough progress, if the Giants win enough games, if John Mara feels good about the direction of and I should say John Mara and ownership as a whole feel good about the direction of the organization at the end of the season, then he'll be back. And so this certainly gives him a better chance than if they stuck with Russell Wilson at this point. That wasn't going anywhere for Brian Daboll. So he said, I'm fully invested in this guy. Let's see him. And look, there's no way to sit there and watch that game. Not only did he do it, he did it in front of a national audience, Michael. So the rest of the NFL is saying, oh, look, they might have found something. And look, this team isn't a joke anymore. They're not the punchline. I've had people with other teams tell me for years, I hope they keep these guys because they keep making all the wrong decisions. Like other teams legitimately have been saying that for several years to me. And so now you look at it and say, oh, well, they have this quarterback. It gives them a chance, and they might be building something there.
You know what? I said this in the open too, Jordan, and we're talking with Jordan Raanan here on the Michael K. Show. It kills me that they lost to the Saints, because if they hadn't lost to the Saints and they did pull off this win, we'd be looking at 3-3, and we could dream a little bit bigger.
Yeah, but I think we have to realize, and Tom Coughlin said this the other day when he had his charity event at J-Fun, and because remember, he had Eli Manning that rookie year. There's going to be ups and downs. That's just what comes with the rookie quarterback, right? No matter how good this guy is, he's probably going to have some good games and bad games. That next game is in Denver against maybe the best defense in the league. Denver might be by the time the season ends. That might be a really tough game for him. So I think there's going to be peaks and valleys here throughout this season. Eli got benched in 2004 for one of the games. He didn't even finish it against the Ravens. There was a game against Washington. It was a total disaster. Like, there's going to be games where Jaxson Dart struggles here down the stretch, and the schedule is still really tough.
What happened when he went into the 10? Did he address that after the game at all?
Yeah, they just the dilemma with the 10th is everything that happened around it, right? He grabbed his head on the field, which could be viewed as a sign that that you don't let him back in. This is what the league is actually investigating, or I shouldn't say reviewing is the word that they used. Everything that went on with the concussion protocol there, and Brian Daboll going over. Coaches aren't supposed to go in. Other players aren't supposed to go into the tent. Cam Scatterboo might have went in as well, right? And then Brian Daboll's animatingly having a conversation with the team doctor on the sideline and said afterwards he'd apologize for it. So the league is looking into that whole thing. But this is now the third time in 4 games. This is the bigger thing, Michael. It's the third time in 4 games that the last 4 games he's played that Jaxson Dart had to get checked for a concussion. You got to get rid of the ball at times. Like that play in particular, that didn't need to be a sack. That was a play you just scramble out to the side and throw it away. Live for another down, and save your body and save yourself from hits.
See, that's the thing. It's going to be such a delicate balance, though, Jordan, because what makes him a really good player is his fearlessness, but what could really get him hurt is his fearlessness. So I don't know how you kind of navigate that.
You know who's done a really good job of navigating that?
Who?
Josh Allen.
Right.
Right? Because he has that same approach. But if you watch Josh Allen, you see him a lot of times running towards the sideline. He's just throwing the ball out of bounds. Like, that's kind of what Jaxson Dart doesn't have. I was trying to think earlier. I don't think he's thrown the ball away yet. Like, I don't remember a play off the top of my head where he's thrown the ball away in his 3 starts. Like, that's going to be something you just have to add to your arsenal. Especially they were up big at that point when he took that hit. Like, it was just unnecessary to take that hit. It was a sack for 0 yards. Just go to the side and throw it away.
Well, he certainly has a kindred spirit in the backfield, and that's Cam Scatterbo. They got him in the 4th round, so they've got to be ultimately pleased by the way he's playing.
Yeah, and I think that's if you're the Giants or the Giants fan, you go into last night and you come away and you're like, those 2 guys just give us a different feel. And afterwards, listening to them speak, right? Jaxson Dart brought up, originally unprompted, that, there's been a lot of negativity, and we kind of knew that. And you're like, oh, yeah, what did you hear? Like, well, why do you say that? And he's just talking about there's been a lot of losing before we've come here. And these 2 guys are like, well, we weren't part of that losing, though. That's not us. We weren't part of that. We don't have that mindset. Like, that doesn't mean anything to us. That negativity has nothing to do with us. So it's such a fresh mindset that they sort of bring, the 2 of them combined. And then you throw in the fact of, think about how they both play, Michael. They both play with that fire, that super aggressiveness. We're going to lower our head. There's that one clip of Jaxson Dart. I don't know if you saw it. He basically dives with his head at an Eagles defender near the first down marker to get a first down near the sideline. Like, that's what Jaxson Dart and Cam Scatterbo bring to the table, is that attitude. And it certainly seems like it's refreshing here. And Jaxson Dart said that was a statement that they made, right? They beat the defending champs. The entire NFL was watching. So, and it's hard to really argue that logic right there. It was a statement to the rest of the league. Hey, they might not be a running joke for some of these other teams now.
All right, so this is an odd question because we've asked you at the beginning of the year, what do you think is going to be the record at the end of the year? After last night's performance, have you recalibrated, and do you think they could be better? And I understand they have a killer schedule and all that, but they just beat the defending Super Bowl champs, so you would say nothing's off the table. Have you recalibrated what you thought?
I was at 6.
Right.
And at 1-3, 1-4, I was kind of worried about 6. So I think now it kind of bumped up right back into my range. Like, I can see a perfect world where it does somehow get to 8, and they go on, and Jaxson Dart is winning games for them left and right, and there's some sort of run there. But I think 6 is still the right number. They're very short at certain positions. Not having Malik Neighbors really hurts, right? It limits what you are on offense. Like, I don't know, especially against good defenses, every game, if they're going to be able to move the ball up and down the field consistently.
Mm-hmm.
So I think 6 is still a fair number.
Do you think 6 allows Dable to keep his job?
Such a hard question. What else goes on around it, I think, is imperative when you ask that question. Things like potentially getting fined. That was such a great game, right? For the Giants and for the Giants fans and for Brian Dable and for Jaxson Dart. And at the same time, now the Giants are being reviewed for the concussion protocol, and the coach yelling at the medical, or talking to the medical guy on the doctor on the sideline.
That was not a good look.
Yeah, those kind of things just continue to be little bad looks. Those kind of things, if you want to stay, you can't afford a lot of those kind of things. Like, that was especially on it was a perfect day for him aside from that.
Right.
Just don't do that. You got to control yourself on the sideline, and I'm sure if you got him with truth serum, he would tell you that that's true and he shouldn't have done that. Same as like flipping the tablet at Daniel Jones several years back.
Right. All right. Before we let you go, let's plug the book. How's the book doing?
The book's doing great. Where else should be at the Morristown Book Festival tomorrow? Look at that. I have it on my desk sitting right
Nice.
here.
I have it on my desk, too.
a.m.
Thank you for sending it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know you got to go. You're in the book.
I know the Eli question.
The book. There you go.
I love
and
it.
so, 11 a.m. tomorrow, St. Peter's Parish Hall in Morristown.
And you'll be signing and, taking pictures and kissing babies.
Go on stage and to have a 40-minute discussion about the book, the current, the present, the past Giants, all of it right there. Beautiful.
Love it. And the book's doing okay?
Yeah, it's doing great, I think.
Go out and buy it. Jordan's a friend and obviously great at what he does, and he knows the Giants better than anybody, so go out and buy the book. Jordan, thanks for popping on with us.
Hey, Mike. Appreciate you, man.
You got it. Have a good weekend. That's Jordan Raanan, so big win for the Giants. Now, when we come back, we're going to have a strange combination. I think you're going to like it. It's kind of like a revisiting of old times. Don LaGreca, who's going to start his Devils television career tomorrow, will join us. And also joining us is going to be the guy who produced our show back in the heyday, Andrew Gunling from Philadelphia, to get a feel of what he's feeling right now with one of the worst sports days that a city could have. That's all coming up in just a moment. Now, before we go, though, before we break, as we say in the business, and when I say business, I mean the industry, I've got something to tell you. I want to tell you about Game Time, brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, it's Tully time. 8 p.m., Mariners host the Tigers in a winner-take-all Game 5 in Seattle. Tarek Skubal's on the mound for Detroit. You can hear that game right here on ESPN New York beginning at 7:30 p.m. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew or try the new Tullamore Dew Honey during today's action. Glass up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. Don and Andrew coming on in just a moment right here on The K Show on ESPN New York.
Make cancer screening a part of your annual healthcare routine. New York Presbyterian offers a full range of cancer screenings, including lung, cervical, prostate, colorectal, breast, and more. Regular cancer screenings could save your life by detecting cancer at its earliest, most treatable stages. Screenings are available across New York City and Westchester. Learn more at nyp.org/cancer screening. Stay amazing. New York Presbyterian.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
Ballybet Sportsbook. Yo, Ballybet stacked for football season. When it comes to sportsbook apps, it's undefeated. Ballybet. Check out that brand new parlay zone. Here's the kickoff. Build your bets and place them right on your phone. What? Live bets, daily boosts, and promos. Increase your odds so you can win more dough. Touchdown! Ballybet's the play. Make game day more fun and download it today. Must be 21 plus, New York only. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY. Ballybet, Sportsbook and Casino. Download it.
Just printed from the Erie Canal Press, the most coveted ticket, New York Lottery's $1 million raffle, hath arrived. 15 fortunate souls shall come into the fortune of a millionaire.
Translation, the $1 million raffle is here, and 15 winners are going to become millionaires. The New York Lottery commemorates 200 years of the Erie Canal with your best odds of winning $1 million. Limited tickets available. Ask your local retailer today. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
Score a win this game day with Amazon Pickup, the MVP of package pickup. Need that new football jersey for the big matchup? With Amazon Pickup, you can collect your order from secure Amazon lockers or counters near you on your schedule. Whether you're running from work or home or straight to the tailgate, Amazon Pickup makes it easy and worry-free at no extra cost. Don't miss kickoff. Grab your gear and your packages when it works for you. Find your nearest Amazon pickup location at amazon.com/pickupmvp. That's amazon.com/pickupmvp.
Getting the right mattress helps you sleep at night. Getting the right price helps you sleep even better. At PC Richard & Son, they don't just sell you a mattress. Their experts use a 4-step fitting process to make sure your new bed fits you perfectly. The right fit, the right price, plus free delivery. It's what they do, only at PC Richard & Son. Free delivery on mattresses $199 and up. Excludes Manhattan. See stores for details.
Are you ready to make a difference for the environment while helping the visually impaired at the same time? Then donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind today by calling 1-800-983-6530. Every donated vehicle will either be properly recycled in an eco-friendly manner or given a new life through reuse. Donating your vehicle is easy. Simply call 1-800-983-6530 and Heritage for the Blind will do the rest. They'll even arrange for your vehicle to be picked up at no cost to you. And for a limited time, when you donate your car, you'll receive a $200 restaurant voucher and a 2-night, 3-day hotel stay at one of 50 locations. Call 1-800-983-6530 right now to schedule your vehicle donation and make a positive impact on the environment while helping others. Heritage for the Blind, where every car donation counts and every person makes a difference. Call 1-800-983-6530 now. This advertisement is paid for by Heritage for the Blind.
From the regular season to the Super Bowl, ESPN New York is your destination for football. We've got crazy fans.
If the Giants somehow beat the Cowboys, I'm going to take a dump on your head.
You can feel good because you're a damn football team. Expert analysis.
Marcus Spears joins us now. ESPN NFL analyst Damian Woody.
Mel Kiper Jr.
The Hall of Famer Steve Young.
He's kind of our resident general manager, Louis Riddick.
We got Mike Tannenbaum right now.
And all your fantasy and wagering needs. This is ESPN New York. We are football.
Welcome back to the Michael K. Show, everybody. So, unbelievable win for the Giants yesterday, and they beat the defending Super Bowl champs. And I said at the beginning of the show, I can't imagine a city having a worse sports day than Philly had. And I didn't say it in a mocking or derisive tone. I really can't believe that anything could be worse than what happened yesterday to Philadelphia sports fans. So what we did was we went back to the future. So Don tomorrow is going to call his first game as the television voice of the New Jersey Devils. He's down in Tampa, so it'll be against the Lightning. He joins us from Tampa. And Andrew Gunling, the producer of the Michael K. Show back in the heyday and left us for bigger and better things, he's obviously a big Philadelphia fan, both the Eagles and the Phillies, and he will join us from his location, which he wants to keep private because there are people out to get him. Don, are you excited about tomorrow, first off?
Yeah, this is just so surreal because it's the same, deal of like doing a Ranger game. You get to the hotel, you prepare for the game, except it's not the Rangers, it's the Devils. And when I came into the lobby this morning, because I did not go with the team to Carolina because that game was on ESPN Plus last night, so I'm not seeing Rangers hanging around. I'm seeing Devils hanging around. When I was at the Garden last Thursday for the preseason game, I know what it feels like to be traded. Because I'm not supposed to be there anymore. I'm supposed to be someplace else. So it's so weird, and it's TV. You made the transition from radio to television, so in a lot of ways it's easier, in a lot of ways it's harder. It's different. It's a completely different animal. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what it's going to be like. I did get a couple of preseason games, but that's preseason. This is Devils, Lightning, Tampa. This is for real tomorrow, so I'm really excited about it.
So what time is it? And is it it's on the mothership MSG or MSG?
It'll be on MSG2 because the Rangers are playing. So you'll find it on your family of MSG networks, 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock puck drop.
Can't wait.
And me, Ken Danico, Bryce Salvador, let's do it.
And the big star for the Devils is Huggis. You realize that, right?
That's right. It's Huggis, I know. So, but I'll throw it out there to Charlie and let him know it's an honor of him if I say it. But
okay.
It's so surreal. You went through this, Michael, with your favorite team, the Yankees, when you got the job, and we talked about it when I first got it. It's
nerve-wracking, but just have fun.
But it's surreal. But it's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, let's bring in Andrew, who we both love. Andrew, I'm just wondering, buddy, has there been a worse sports day in Philadelphia history?
Hey, guys, and congrats, Don.
Thank you.
To you in person. It's awesome. Congratulations. Worst singular sports day. So none that comes to mind. So I read that this is actually the second time in the history of sports where a baseball team's season ended, a football team lost, and their hockey team lost all on the same day. And the other time was also Philadelphia in 1983.
Oh.
So there is actually precedent for it, but the nature of the Phillies loss in particular makes this something just totally different.
Wow.
Now, were you sitting in front of a TV when Kerkering made that throw? And I know that the first thing is to be mad at him, but do you feel for him?
100%. And I actually do think, for all the bad things that people say about Philadelphia, sports fans in particular, I actually do think that this is the number one way over the last, say, since Mitch Williams, because he was treated like garbage after the Joe Carter home run.
Right.
And I actually do think that this is the number one way in which Philadelphia sports fans have changed. And you saw it a little bit a couple years ago with Trey Turner when he signed his huge contract and he was really struggling, and the fans gave him a standing ovation instead of booing him, and it kicked off his whole season. He was great after that. I think you'll see the next time Kerkering is introduced at Citizens Bank Park, I really truly believe he'll get an ovation. I think that fan base, I think the fan base has changed in that way. And yeah, like initially it's what on earth is he thinking? What did I just witness? But yeah, if you're a normal, well-adjusted human being, there has to be a moment where you're like, wow, that guy has to live with that now. I do feel for him.
Well, Andrew, just take me in real time. Where were we in the Giant-Eagle game when that error happened?
Halftime. I believe it was right near the end of the first half. So I didn't really see a second of the Eagles game. And then, because I was completely locked in on the Phillies, as you would expect. And so then I did watch the second half of the Eagles game. But it is easily the most numb I've ever been watching football. I mean, like, by itself, that Eagles-Giants game would have sunk me. Like, that's a day ruiner by itself. But in the grand scheme of last night, pales. I mean, not even remotely close, not in the vicinity of what that Phillies game meant. That Phillies game wasn't just a loss. That was – I've never seen one like that, and it might also just be – it might be the end of an era. Schwarber, Real Muto, Ranger Suarez, they're all free agents. Zach Wheeler is going to miss a chunk of next season. Bryce Harper's going to be 33 and is maybe entering a different phase of his career. Like, that might have been the end of more than just a season. That was – I don't know, man. I still can't even believe how that played out last night.
Do you believe they bring back Realmuto? Because, again, he's 34. He caught 132 games this year. At some point with a catcher, I mean, the U-turn happens where you start to regress.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I'd have to look and see. I haven't even looked yet at, who the other free agents are. I do know the Phillies don't really – I don't think they have someone who's just ready-made to step in. I don't think that they've developed that next catcher. So I guess it comes down to what he wants. He's 34. If he thinks he can – you would know better than me, Michael, as to what a catcher of his caliber at that age can get on the open market. If he wants 5 years, then I'd say no. I don't know if that's realistic for him to ask for that. If he wants 2 with an option or something, then yeah, absolutely I would take him. But I guess it depends what is realistic for a catcher of his age to expect on the market.
What were your expectations of the Phillies going in? Did you think they had a legit chance of winning it all?
Definitely. I mean, it's a shame. The Dodgers are the best team in baseball. I genuinely believe that. Their lineup, their starting pitching, their bullpen is not good, but they're using other starters in their bullpen. So they've almost found a workaround for it. Not in every game, but in a lot of these games, that's how they're able to get through. It's unfortunate that I think these two teams met at this stage in the postseason. But yeah, even when Wheeler got hurt, I kind of thought, that might have been it. But this Phillies starting pitching, they lost the series not because Wheeler wasn't there. Their starting pitching was unbelievable.
Yep.
They just couldn't hit, and they make such dumb mistakes at such big moments. I know the Dodgers had a couple, like Muncy had an important error in Game 3, but But for the most part, the Dodgers play really sound, smart baseball, and the Phillies don't. They rely on home runs and their starting pitching to get them through. And
that sounds familiar, Don, doesn't it?
It does sound very familiar. And all I'm thinking of is Andrew's talking. I'd love to dance on his grave. You know, I'm no Philly fan. I'm certainly no Eagle fan.
But you're an Andrew fan.
Andrew's such a good guy. I do feel for him today because I know what it's like to be disappointed like that. Not in the same day like that, but to hear him say that he thought Philadelphia had a chance. So this wasn't, we missed an opportunity to force an extra game or maybe go to another round, that they're robbed of a championship. And I'm sorry, your Eagle team is broken, man. I'd love to sit here and say that the Giants have turned some sort of a corner and all that. My takeaway from that game is your team is broken. Something's up. I don't understand why or what. I don't know if anyone does. Even at 4-0, like, that was fun. Beating the Rams on a blocked field goal, like, that's fun and all. But when you take a step back, it's also kind of like, what is happening here? Why does this look the way that it does? There's too many good players for it to look this way and for these games to be so stressful and not fun at times. I don't know. I truly have no idea what it is about them. It's probably a lot of things, but I agree. I wish I could disagree and say, no, they'll be fine. But I think you're right. Like, something is fundamentally wrong with that team. Maybe they can fix it. It's still early in the season, and they got a lot of good players. But, yeah, something's up. That's not just like a weird start to a season. There's an issue there.
All right, in closing, Andrew, do you believe that Rob Thompson is going to come back as manager, or do you think he should be let go?
I mean, I'm always players first when stuff goes wrong. I know managers make important decisions and all that. Like, I'm not trying to diminish that, but I mean, like, how do you tell Kyle Schwarber hit better? Like, he hit 56 home runs this year. I don't know. Like, they didn't hit. Like, I don't know there's little things that he can do that could have changed things here and there. Maybe he should have let Luzardo stay in last night instead of going to Kirkland. I don't know. People are really mad at him right now. They shouldn't have bunted in game whenever that was.
Oh, the bunt killed me. I'm wide bunt.
That was really that was terrible. I don't know what happened there. That was a mistake. But I like Rob Thompson. I think he does a good job of kind of like, I think he has the pulse of his team, and they all seem to like him. The only name that I've heard thrown around is, like, if you want to take them to the next level, maybe now that Bruce Bochy is available, he's someone who I guess if they fired Thompson and wound up with him, it would be hard to be, like, really upset because he has such an accomplished resume. But I don't know. I like Thompson. He's got such a history of success with this team. If he was back next year, I'd be fine with it. I wouldn't fire him. But that's just me. I know a lot of people feel different.
Andrew, are you proud of our guy getting the Devils gig?
Yeah. I mean, it's like, not to be sappy or anything, but to know Don is to know that this is like witnessing someone's dream coming true. Like, that's just that's so cool. I don't know. When I saw the news, I texted him right away. Just truly couldn't be happier for Don to
he had texted me the press release, awesome. As if almost to say, is this real? And I wasn't even sure. I'm still thinking somebody's going to jump out from behind a wall somewhere saying, that I got punked. Ashton Kutcher's going to come out somewhere like before the game tomorrow and say, no, it's all a big joke, man. It's not real.
Now, I always ask you this, Don, before you got all the numbers down? You everything memorized?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Luckily, it's Tampa. Now I got to work on the Devils, right? Like the Rangers, I never had to worry about. So, but I've got the numbers for everybody.
And you got the suit picked out and tie, top notch.
This is something I've now had to think about that I never thought about before.
I know.
I always wanted to look nice doing radio, but now people other than other media people that usually don't think about their clothes are going to see this.
Well, Don, best of luck tomorrow. It all starts 6:30 on MSG2. Andrew, we're sorry. We really are truly sorry that you're going through this, and I wanted to get the real read on it. So hang in there, buddy.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Good to talk to you guys.
All right, that's Andrew Gunling. Don, best of luck, buddy. You know how I feel.
Thank you, man.
You'll kill it. Thank you. That's Don LaGreca tomorrow. His second, second foray into a hockey job. This one, a TV job of his dream team, the Devils. It begins on MSG2. Devils against the Lightning. 6:30, all the coverage begins. When we come back, Buster Olney joins us. We'll talk some Yankees fallout from that, so stay tuned right here on ESPN New York. Hey, ready to fire up your Saturdays? FanDuel has got a boost you don't want to miss. It's called Boosting with the Boys, and it's giving everyone a college football profit boost every single week. So here's how it works. Each week, they're giving everyone a profit boost to use on college football. No opt-in gymnastics, no invite-only nonsense. Everyone gets the boost. We're talking real games, real teams, real Saturdays with an extra payout on the line. It's easy, it's fun, and it's only on FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com/K to download the app. Check out the Boostin' with the Boys offer and get in on the action. 21 plus and physically present in New York. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Hey, this is Adam Fox. Catch every Rangers game right here on 880 ESPN.
WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York.
Score a win this game day with Amazon Pickup, the MVP of package pickup. Need that new football jersey for the big matchup? With Amazon Pickup, you can collect your order from secure Amazon lockers or counters near you on your schedule. Whether you're running from work or home or straight to the tailgate, Amazon Pickup makes it easy and worry-free at no extra cost. Don't miss kickoff. Grab your gear and your packages when it works for you. Find your nearest Amazon Pickup location at amazon.com/pickupmvp. That's amazon.com/pickupmvp.
The Wiz has issued an upset alert. Number 1 Ohio State, Bama, Georgia, and BYU are all favored on the road. Someone is going down. Join one of the nation's top sports betting analysts, Joe Wiz, on the Fine Line, Saturday at 8 a.m. In the NFL, KC faces another big test as they host the Lions. Plus, the Wiz talks baseball, soccer, and hockey winners. Follow the Wiz on Instagram at Joe Wiz Sports. It's the best bet in town. The Fine Line with the Wiz, Saturday at 8 a.m. Be ready to win.
I'm home. Hey, Mom, before you ask, I've done my homework and the dishwasher's unloaded.
Nice. Hey, can you...
Hey, hon, yes, I've got the finale ready to play. Here's your wine.
Wow. Isn't it nice not having to ask? We think so. That's why if there's a network interruption, AT&T will proactively credit you for a full day of service. Guaranteed. Credit for fiber downtime lasting 20 minutes or more, or for wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for details.
Coach Saban here. On the field or on your walls, coverage matters. That's why I go with Behr Marquee Interior Paint and Primer from the Home Depot.
Exceptional hide, advanced stain blocking, and over 1,000 colors to choose from. Behr Marquee delivers one-coat coverage that stands up to real life. One-coat coverage, no overtime. Behr Marquee, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Valid only when tinted to colors from the Behr Marquee Interior One-Coat Hide Collection.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Fallout from the Yankees obviously continues. Stories out there. What are they going to do next? Anybody's job in jeopardy? Thought we'd bring in our expert, our friend, Buster Olney, who's in Seattle for Game 5 of the Seattle-Detroit series tonight. And Buster joins us now. Hey, Buster, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Michael. Good to talk with you.
So will there be fallout, or is it going to be, okay, we just missed and the playoffs are a crapshoot?
If fallout involves, and this is my read on it, I mean, Halsteimer can always wake up one day and he could say, you know what, I want to do major restructuring, but unless that changes, I don't think there's going to be, change in terms of the people who make the decisions. Brian Cashman, Aaron Boone, et cetera. I do think there is going to be an examination this winter about, getting closer to what Toronto is, which is this team that puts the ball in play. We've seen the success of the Milwaukee Brewers this year. We've seen the success of the Blue Jays. And as we saw 3 years ago when the Yankees were very right-handed and wound up making adjustments going left-handed, I think there are going to be adjustments in in how they play the game going forward, attempted adjustments. We'll see if they're successful in doing that.
So they have not won a championship in 16 years. They went to the World Series last year. Obviously, they lost in 5 games, and they make the playoffs 7 out of the 8 years of Boone. Have they failed? I mean, do you believe in the crapshoot aspect that they keep saying? Because Other teams seem like they handle the crapshoot a little bit better. The Astros, the Dodgers, the Red Sox. Why are the Yankees always running into problems before they run across the finish line?
Yeah, and I've never believed in that word, crapshoot, which I think the first time it was used in this context was Billy Beane in the book Moneyball, because the A's had made the playoffs, and his remark was that our stuff doesn't translate in the postseason. I don't think it's just random once you get to the postseason. I think there's styles of teams that succeed in the postseason. I mean, time and time again, you can go back really since the Astros started having success and look at the postseason, and it feels like year after year after year, the teams that succeed in the postseason as opposed to regular season when it does feel like the teams that hit the most home runs have success. In the postseason, it's about putting the ball in play. It's about you had teams that don't strike out a lot because you get to October, and typically the pitching gets a little bit better. The advanced scouting is a little bit more intense. The game planning is a little bit more intense. So I don't believe that it's a crapshoot. I do think the team probably can be built in a way that makes them better suited for October.
It's funny, though, Buster, because I almost agree with what Billy Beane said, and I've said this the last couple of days on the show, so our listeners will hear it again. Maybe you'll hear it for the first time. If you sit down for 6 hours with a system in blackjack, you're going to end up winning. If you sit down for an hour, that might not all play out. The odds might not play out over that hour.
Right.
And I think that hour is the postseason. So their stuff doesn't work. Analytic doesn't work, it seems like, in the postseason. But I agree with you. Maybe you still depend on home runs, but have guys that strike out less, like a Cody Bellinger.
Right, and make decisions. I mean, let's face it. One of the big decisions is with Volpe, and what are you going to do with him going forward? And can you make the team, more athletic? Make the team have more positional flexibility, which is certainly a trend within the sport. And to focus. I mean, look, Aaron Judge is Aaron Judge. You wouldn't want him any different. He is going to strike out a lot. Giancarlo Stanton, he's under contract for a couple more years. He is going to strike out a lot, but in the other spots, maybe have a greater focus on trying to get the guys who are better at putting the ball in play, because that's certainly what the Blue Jays do. I mean, there are times in that series, as you know, where they had more home runs than strikeouts, which is insane.
Well, let's double back, Buster, if you would, with me on Volpe. Because I think that's a fascinating case study, because I think they have a lot invested emotionally in this guy and also just organizationally, because they pass by a lot of shortstops because this guy's the guy. I don't think that they are going to be that willing to just pull the plug. Maybe they go into spring training and go, okay, it's a battle between Caballero, Cabrera, and Volpe, and whoever wins. And I think that they'll make sure that Volpe wins. What's your take? Is there any way that you think that they could pull the plug on the Volpe experiment?
I think there is, if what they actually believe is different than what's been said publicly. Look, Aaron Boone all year, and part of the reason why he's successful as a manager is because he gets along with people. He has empathy for people. He really protected him. When you sit down in a conference room in the wintertime and you do a player evaluation, I wonder if what's going to be conveyed is going to be different than what we heard during the year. Because I know this, you talk with folks with other teams, and they're like, yeah, he looks fried in New York. It's a case of a player who, being from the area, a lot of pressure, number one pick, Yankee shortstop, all that seems to have piled up on him. And there were so many stretches in which he really struggled as a hitter. Will they have a different view once they get into the room? And let's face it, a big part of it is it's like changing managers. You can say, yeah, we'd like to change the manager, but you better come up with a plan B. As you know, I mean, Caballero's looked as someone who is probably a better player when he's moving around to different positions,
right,
versus being an everyday shortstop. So, and I tend to doubt that the Yankees would go into 2026 with the idea that, Caballero is going to be the guy we're going to put out at that position every single day. Does that mean that they make a move with Volpe, trade him, and then bring somebody else in? That seems more realistic to me than just handing the position to Caballero. And I do think they have to take a hard look at the results. which were, let's face it, this year, they were ugly most of the time.
Now, you get a chance with the Sunday Night Baseball crew. You talk to the manager privately. And I mean, Aaron is nice enough that, he'll sit with me privately and tell me what he really thinks. And I got to tell you, I don't know if you guys heard this. He's all in on Volpe, unless he's a great poker player. But he would tell me, you guys are so wrong. The production's there. He's an elite shortstop. Did you guys get that same vibe from him?
Yeah, absolutely. And the one thing I would say, I thought that was 100% right, especially last year, the beginning of this year. But the numbers are the numbers.
Right.
That his defensive play this year took a significant hit. That's what the numbers suggest. There have been times when Volpe has, taken the ball to right field, when he's been an effective hitter. And then there have been times I don't know if you felt the same way, but watching the Blue Jays series, it just looked like he was overwhelmed by the moment. We saw Ryan Kerkering last night. He was been a terrific professional pitcher, and he's in a moment he kind of loses himself and he throws the ball away. That's what it felt like the Volpe at bats were in so much of the postseason. Is that just one small window into what he is, or was that what he was doing a lot of this season? And let's face it, there is a different level of stress playing for the Yankees, playing in New York, playing in a big market. And it's been a long time since they've seen a player who's drawn so much scrutiny in the way that he has. And the question of whether or not he's going to be able to handle that going forward is something they're going to have to answer in that conference room.
But here's why that question is so frustrating to me, and I don't really know the answer. He hit well in the Boston series, and that would be, the height of pressure. And then last year in the postseason, he did well. He had a grand slam in the World Series. So what went wrong with the wiring this year?
I don't know. I can't answer that. I think the one thing just based on my experience is, do I think that the marketplace is affecting the player? And my answer is yes. I think he's a better player than what he's shown. I think he's a chance to be a more consistent player. And it might be that this market is just not a great match for him.
Interesting. You mentioned Kerkering. I'm watching the game yesterday. You see what happened. And, I love baseball. And my heart sunk for the guy because is he going to be the new Philadelphia Mitch Williams? Is he going to be remembered like Bill Buckner, although that was a World Series? What were your thoughts when you watched that play go down?
Same thing. I get asked all the time, who do you root for? And I always say I root for interesting stories. You root for good stuff to happen to good people. And you would never wish that upon anyone where, the ball comes back to him and he freezes mentally in a second. It looked like his feet were in cement. He makes a throw. And to see him come off the field, Rob Thompson is, and you'll back me up on this, is as stoic personality as a manager as you can imagine. And so for Rob to wait at the edge of the dugout, intercept Kerkering, talk to him in his ear and said, hang in there, shake this off. This isn't all on you. And then to be emotional about it, Rob was after the game and talking about the play and all the Phillies players emotional for him. It goes back to, for me, to that famous picture after the Bobby Thompson home run in 1951 of Ralph Branca just stretched out on the steps in the Dodger clubhouse. That's the way it felt. Like, man, as Carl Ravitch said to me in a conversation this morning, we grew up with the ABC Sports, the agony of defeat. And that's what we saw last night. And I do hope he's able to put this behind him. I will say he handled that situation as well as you possibly could after the game, addressing the questions and standing there and answering the same thing over and over and over again. That could not have been easy.
So is this the last iteration of this Phillies team? Is Realmuto back? Is Rob Thompson back? What's your feel on what they do with the Phillies?
Yeah, and look, everybody that you talk to believes that in the end the Phillies will make the biggest offer to Kyle Schwarber and that in all likelihood he's going to go back there. We don't know exactly what Schwarber wants. He's a Midwest guy. Might he want to explore other options? Yeah, it's possible, but the Phillies are going to throw a lot of money at him. It's going to be really hard for him to turn that down. I think JT will be back. He's valued by the organization. John Middleton, their owner, has demonstrated that for him this is personal, and he will when he needs to, will step in. And in some ways, I mean, there's different types of players, but it's a little bit like Pete and the Mets, Pete Alonso and the Mets, that I think that Middleton will make this happen with JT, who's very trusted by the pitching staff. Ranger Suarez, big question with him as a free agent, especially with the uncertainty about Zach Wheeler after, what he went through in September and what he's going to bring them. And with Rob, look, I worked on a story in early September about, pending managerial and GM changes. And what I got at that time was there were definitely seeds of thought within the Phillies organization that if the Phillies didn't advance further this year in the postseason, because they've been tripped up in the last couple of years at times when they are perceived to be the best team in baseball, that the leadership of that team would want to make a change and say, look, it's just not working. We need to go with another voice. And as you know, Rob was intending to retire at the end of the year in the season in which he took over for Girardi when Joe was fired there. But does that sentiment change? I do think that if there's change, it's going to come from Middleton. It's an owner's prerogative to make those changes, and Middleton's put a lot of money into this team. I don't think it would make that much of a difference. He's really respected by the players. We'll see which way it goes. Bryce Harper was asked about it after the game last night. He said, I love playing for Topper. That decision comes down to David Dombrowski, head of baseball operations.
You say you think they'll make the greatest effort to get Schwarber and also to bring back Realmuto. Well, Buster, then we're really staring at an old team, a team that's really old.
Yes, I would agree with you. I mean, let's face it, when the Phillies, with the benefit of 2020 hindsight, the Phillies' big mistake coming off those the championship season that they had in 2008 is that they kept that team together too long. Mm-hmm. Those guys were sort of hometown heroes, and they didn't turn over the roster the way they should have, and they wound up paying about a decade for that. And now they're back, and now they're a powerful franchise. They do need to get younger as they move forward.
Is it me? I watched the Dodgers, and I watched them last year win a championship, and I'm just not blown away for a team that has a $380 million payroll, but they do have something that makes them win games. I just don't think they're an overwhelming team. Am I wrong?
I would disagree with you in this right now. I thought at the end of the regular season that they were vulnerable because of the fact that their back end of their bullpen had struggled so badly. Tanner Scott, so many of the relievers breaking down because the Dodgers leaned on those guys so heavily in the first half of the year. But watching Roki Sasaki last night, good Lord. Right. I mean, on September 6th, Roki Sasaki was down in the minor leagues. There was no thought he was going to be part of the big league team. And as Jeff Passan wrote in his great piece last week, that Sasaki basically said, you know what, I'm open to change. I'm open to your guys' ideas. And they essentially put him through their pitching lab. And all of a sudden, he's jacked up his velocity. He's throwing that splitter for strikes. He looks incredible. And if you've covered the end of the game, if you're the Dodgers, all of a sudden you're looking at a team that obviously is dominant starting pitching. Yamamoto, Snell, Glasnow, Shohei Ohtani, that great lineup that includes 3 future Hall of Famers. I really felt, you remember at the end of last year's World Series when the Yankees lost, the Dodgers players were saying afterward that their biggest challenge along the way was San Diego in that 5-game division series. I think they just got through their biggest challenge, facing the Phillies in a 5-game division series, and now they're going to roll through. And they will win. They'll be the first team to go back-to-back since those Yankee teams.
Tell me about the game tonight. I'm excited about watching it. You got Skubal on the mound. Are the Mariners feeling down about this? Do they think they have a shot?
Yeah. They definitely have. Look, Skubal's faced the Mariners 3 times this year, and the Mariners have won all 3 games.
Okay.
It's to the point, I just got off the phone before I talked with you. Skubal went to college 3 miles from T-Mobile Park. And his coach, Donnie Harrell, has gone to the last 2 Skubal starts at T-Mobile Park, and it didn't go well for Skubal. And so the coach, Donnie Harrell, is not going to come to the park Baseball superstition is a real thing.
Wow.
He's going to watch it from home. And look, Skubal is the best pitcher on the planet. He's going to be locked in for tonight. He's certainly someone who can turn around those results. And on the flip side, the part of the reason why Cal Raleigh is an MVP candidate this year is because he's doing all that he's doing as a catcher through the grind. Well, because the Mariners had a first-round bye and the off days in the postseason, he's only had to catch 4 of the last 11 days. I was just texting with his dad, Todd, and he said that he is fresher. There's no doubt about it. He's 7 for 16 in this series. It's going to be a great game. You know how the atmosphere here is in Seattle. I've always thought it was a very underrated park.
And who do you like in Milwaukee and the Cubs, Game 5?
Milwaukee playing at home. I mean, let's face it. This series is just it is a battle of attrition. I mean, the pitching staffs on both sides are totally wrecked by injuries. The question is, which guy's going to step up? Jacob Mizorowski, if the Brewers are going to win, he has to play a big role in that Game 5. The Cubs, issues, the first domino really was when Cade Horton got hurt, and now guys are pitching on short rest. Relievers go multiple days. I mean, that start yesterday by Matthew Boyd was awesome because he had struggled so badly in the first start. But it's going to be a game where you're going to see like 16 pitchers. It's going to be 8-6. Absolute mayhem, and either one of those teams is going to come out of that and then have to face the Dodgers, having gotten a few days of rest.
Talking with Buster Olney, we started with the Yankees. Let me finish with the Yankees. An important question. I keep hearing, Buster, Cody Bellinger is probably going to re-sign with the Yankees because, he loved it there. Well, I think Juan Soto loved it there too, but they're both represented by Scott Boras. I think Bellinger is going to go where they pay him the most money. Will the Yankees want to pay him $30 million a year for 4 years? That's my question.
I think that your casting of it is exactly right. Cody has moved from team to team to team, from the Dodgers to the Cubs to the Yankees. He clearly was a great fit for the Yankees this year. You saw it more than I did, moving for different positions from day to day, so flexible, open-minded, making it clear he didn't care where he played. He was great, but I do wonder if they're going to ante up, if they're going to, give him the $30 million a year contract, or will a team like the Phillies take a run at him? Will a team like the Astros take a run at him? I think it's going to come down to whether or not they're going to offer the most money, and I have doubts that they will be.
And there's one final thing. Everybody keeps writing this and saying it too, Buster. Well, the Yankees for sure are going to issue, the qualifying offer to Trent Grisham. Are you kidding? You're willing to pay Trent Grisham $22 million for 1 year? I wouldn't issue that qualifying offer. Why would you do that? He might take it.
Yeah, I would. Because
really?
And you've heard this from executives with other teams. There's no such thing as a bad 1 year deal. If you're the Yankees, and you are going to need some help, some veteran help in the outfield, even if you decide you're going to lean on the youngsters and hope that you're going to develop those guys, I would give him the qualifying offer. And if you wind up, if the market forces him back to the Yankees, 1 year's $22 million, it's just a 1 year deal.
Yeah, but you know why he was so valuable this year, Buster? He was making $5 million. All of a sudden, $22 million? I don't know.
And maybe that's their internal conversations. If Grisham accepts the qualifying offer, which will be long before he has to make the decision, long before the Cody Bellinger negotiations play out, and if he accepts, maybe that closes the door on Cody.
And that is a door I would not want to close, but interesting. Well, we got a lot of time to talk about that. We have your game on tonight on ESPN New York, so people can listen. It's going to be a great game. Seattle against Detroit, the final game, best of 5. Buster, thanks for coming on. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the game tonight.
Absolutely, Michael. I always love talking with you.
Thank you so much. Me too. Hey, we're going to have Ian O'Connor on in a moment. Now, Ian wrote a fascinating story in The Athletic today about how, he spoke with Joe Torre. And Joe Torre said, Yankee fans have a right to demand that because that's what they have been brought up to feel, that they should win a championship. But I'll let Ian discuss in depth what Joe said if you haven't read the story in The Athletic. Hey, a reminder for everyone playing ESPN New York Survivor. Make your pick before Sunday's 1 o'clock games to stay in the running for the $5,000 grand prize. After 5 weeks, We've lost 79% of players, leaving only Chris Canty, Evan Cohen, and Jake Asman as the surviving ESPN personalities. I'm not surviving because of that stupid Cardinal team. Still angry over it. Follow along on the ESPN New York app, powered by SplashSports.com. Ian O'Connor of The Athletic, our good buddy, joins us in just a moment. And remember, 2-pack for sure, my picks at the end of the show. Stay tuned for that right here on ESPN New York. For appliances, TVs, electronics, and mattresses, get to PC Richard & Son. Family owned and operated for 116 years.
Friday with Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg, a stunner in MetLife. Jaxson Dart and Cam Scatterboot led the Giants to an upset of the Eagles.
This is the greatest feeling in the world. And Rick, this is why you watch.
Is this the start of a turnaround?
Good team win. Home crowd was awesome, but we got to give them a reason to be awesome too. So another good game by a rookie quarterback.
Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg today at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
To help those who want to be helped, but may not be able to afford it.
That's what PGA Tour winner Grayson Murray had envisioned for a foundation before he sadly took his own life at just 30 years old. His parents channeled their grief into creating the Grayson Murray Foundation, carrying out his vision to help those struggling with mental health and addiction. To donate and learn more, visit GraysonMurrayFoundation.com.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. BetterHelp therapists have helped over 5 million people worldwide on their mental health journeys. That's millions of stories, millions of journeys, and behind every one is a therapist who showed up, listened, and helped someone take a step forward. Moments in therapy, like the right question, a safe space to cry, or a small win can change lives. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. And it works. With an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 for a live session based on over 1.7 million client reviews. This World Mental Health Day, we're celebrating the therapists who have helped millions of people take a step forward. If you're ready to find the right therapist for you, BetterHelp can help you start that journey. Our fans get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/timeout. That's BetterHelp.com/timeout.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Ballybet Sportsbook. Yo, Ballybet stacked for football season. When it comes to sportsbook apps, it's undefeated. Ballybet. Check out that brand new parlay zone. Here's the kickoff. Build your bets and place them right on your phone. What? Live bets, daily boosts, and promos. Increase your odds so you can win more dough. Touchdown! Ballybet's the play. Make game day more fun and download it today. Must be 21 plus, New York only. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY. Ballybet Sportsbook and Casino. Download it.
Just printed from the Erie Canal Press, the most coveted ticket, New York Lottery's $1 million raffle hath arrived. 15 fortunate souls shall come into the fortune of a millionaire.
Translation, the $1 million raffle is here, and 15 winners are going to become millionaires. The New York Lottery commemorates 200 years of the Erie Canal with your best odds of winning $1 million. Limited tickets available. Ask your local retailer today. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
Score or win this game day with Amazon Pickup, the MVP of package pickup. Need that new football jersey for the big matchup? With Amazon Pickup, you can collect your order from secure Amazon lockers or counters near you on your schedule. Whether you're running from work or home or straight to the tailgate, Amazon Pickup makes it easy and worry-free at no extra cost. Don't miss kickoff. Grab your gear and your packages when it works for you. Find your nearest Amazon Pickup location at amazon.com/pickupmvp. That's amazon.com/pickupmvp.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-731-4558 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as one day. Just dial 1-800-731-4558 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-731-4558 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
Welcome back to the show. Friend of the show, Ian O'Connor, works for The Athletic now. Been writing great stories for them. And the story that caught my eye was, he talked to Joe Torre about the expectations of Yankee fans. But before we even get to that, first off, Ian, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me again, Michael. How are you?
I'm good. Now, you have a little something that you want to tell me about Jaxson Dart, who had such a great game yesterday.
Yeah, just a sit-down I had with him, Michael, in July. And he makes eye contact. He's a very engaging kid. I remember telling him, I said, I've been doing this for 40 years in New York. You're going to work out here, I could tell. And certainly he's done it faster than I realized he would. But I said to him at the end of the interview, if you could sign up for Eli Manning's career right now, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, a probable Hall of Fame induction, would you take it or would you play it out? And he said, I'll play it out, because I'm always going to bet on myself. So basically, the kid was telling me he thinks he can win 3 Super Bowls or more. And so he didn't want to cap it at 2. And I really was impressed with that answer and surprised by it. So I just think Giants fans who are getting to know him a little bit, that's a little window into his competitive soul, that I gave him a chance to take Eli's career. And I thought that it was a layup, and he dunked it instead. So,
and you know what's interesting too, Ian, that when Eli took over for Kurt Warner, he was so dreadful you thought he was going to get killed. So Dart's first 3 games, he played it out. He's much better than Eli was the first 3 games.
Oh, it's not even close. I mean, Eli was so bad that some of us were starting to campaign for Kurt Warner again to get his job back. And then Eli, towards the end, the last couple of starts, he showed you the promise that he had. And, of course, the following year, he led the Giants to the playoffs. But Jaxson Dart is much more athletic than Eli ever was. And, yeah, his confidence level, his playmaking ability, it is far beyond where Eli was as the number 1 overall pick. So, yeah, obviously it looks like the Giants now have a 15-year player at that position, and maybe they can hang around. I'm just hoping, usually after the Yankees are done, the Giants and Jets are already done, or certainly done by Halloween. I think the Giants have a chance. That schedule scares me, but they can hang around maybe into the 2nd, 3rd week of December with a chance at that last wild card. That would make this season worthwhile.
All right, so the big question then to me is this, Ian. If he's all that, right, and a bag of chips, why did he last to the 25th pick in a league that's desperate for quarterbacks? Why? What didn't they see?
That's a good question. I don't know because, listen, we could play that game all day long. Tom Brady, 199th. Bart Starr, 200th a million years ago. This has been going on. Scouts and GMs, guys paid a lot of money to evaluate talent, miss all the time. And so I have no idea, because looking at him now, what doesn't he have? He's great in interviews. We've seen that. And my experience with him, again, 15 minutes, I could tell he was going to make it in New York. And he's got athletic ability. He's got the arm. He's got confidence. He has that it factor that you could tell he doesn't only inspire the offense, he inspires the defense. So, and frankly, as much as I think Russell Wilson deserves respect and the Giants signed him to be the starter, and I think they probably should have pulled the plug a little earlier, though he had that great game against the Cowboys, the Giants would have another win or two if they turned to Dart earlier. So, again, the schedule looks very forbidding. But I think there's enough there with him and Scatterbo that if they have a chance to hang around and just make it interesting, I'd love to see them be in the mix, because I just want to have a football season. Usually, Michael, as you know, we go from the Yankees straight to the Knicks and the Rangers and everything else. it would be nice to have a football season in New York for a change.
Am I being a New York jerk for being so angry that they lost to the Saints that, they should be 3-3?
They should, yeah. And again, talking about the picture that I'm looking at and a chance to stay in the mix, it would have been awfully nice and helpful if they won that game. They should have won that game, and they should have beaten the Cowboys with Wilson, who did have a great game against Dallas. There's a lot of shouldas and couldas, but that is the NFL. Anything can happen every Sunday in the NFL. You know that. They lose to the Saints, and then 4 days later or nights later, they're not dominating, but they're controlling the defending champion Eagles. So that's the NFL in a nutshell. But I still think it's out there for them, and they have a shot maybe to win 8 games. And obviously, if that happens, Brian Dable will be back.
Let's talk about your story in The Athletic today, which caught my eye, where you talked to Joe Torre. And, I deal with it every day on the show where Yankee fans just are unhappy unless they win a championship. They want the GM gone. They want the manager gone. But Joe Torre kind of put it into perspective why they feel like that.
Yeah, and obviously it's his fault, and I told him that on the phone. Had you not won 4 championships in 5 years, I think fans today wouldn't measure Aaron Boone and Cashman and the entire organization against that standard. But look at fan bases around sports and even locally, Jets fans. You look at Knicks fans. You look at really almost any other fan base in sports. Most of them would sign up for making the playoffs every single year, just about. And postseason failure, obviously 16 straight years of not winning it all for an organization built around the annual mission statement from George Steinbrenner and Cashman of winning it all. Yeah, it's tough and it's painful, and heartbreak in October is sometimes more painful than heartbreak in August and September in baseball. I don't know if Mets fans would agree with that based on the fact that they missed this year. And I live with one who's a diehard and watches 162 games a year. And it's quite painful to go through that and miss the tournament. But I would sign up for it. I think when you're in the dance every year, you're going to win a championship. They're going to walk into a title or two, I think, in the next 3-4 years. I do think it'll happen. I actually thought they were going to win it all this year. I didn't see a great team out there. Still not sure I do, although the Dodgers are starting to look the way they looked last year. But the Yankees had an opportunity here that I think they wasted. And as I wrote in The Athletic, they'll take this one to their graves, because I did think after the moves Cashman made at the deadline, they had enough talent, versatility, more athleticism, better defense, more speed with the power. They had an ace. They had a better closer. I just thought there were an awful lot of pieces there, but those pieces did not come together, and the Blue Jays played a better brand of baseball and deserved to move on.
And it's also interesting, I think that our listeners would like to hear it, that Joe Torre's a fan of Boone. He thinks he does a good job, right?
Yeah, one thing that surprised me a little bit in our conversation yesterday, Michael, is I said Boone has your temperament to handle New York, and probably doesn't get enough credit for that. And Joe said, actually, his temperament is better than mine, because I see him sometimes get what Joe called occasionally dumb questions, and Aaron just handles it seamlessly, effortlessly. And he said, I couldn't do that. And I said, you were pretty good at that. I probably asked you a few dumb questions, and I don't remember you blowing up or getting angry about it. But listen, Boone is great at managing egos and connecting with his players and dealing with the media. As you know, it is difficult to talk 2 or 3 times every day for what? Including spring training and the playoffs, 7.5 months. Mm-hmm. When's the last time he really made a public mistake speaking? And that's not easy in New York, occasionally, but he is really good at that. So, and listen, he told me recently that he had pulled Jazz Chisholm, for instance, they have a great relationship, into his office many times, he said, to rebuke him and correct him on things. So, and you saw last year with Garrett Cole, he protected him after 88 pitches in Game 1. Boone told me, basically confirmed my report, that he took the hit for Garrett Cole. And Cole told him after the 88 pitches that he was gassed. And so Boone had no choice but to take him out, and then took the hit for Cole. And so the players respond to that. That's why they love him. That's why Judge wants him back. But the question is, Aaron Boone is a good to very good manager. But when is good no longer good enough for an organization that really has a standard of greatness? He's not great. So I think he's got another year, maybe 2, and that's it. If he doesn't have a ring after 9 or 10 years, I don't care how good he is, the Yankees will need a new voice and a new manager at that point.
I read a stat today, and I don't know if you were aware of this, but I wasn't, that he's the first Yankee manager in their history to survive 5 years without winning a title, the first 5 years. The only one.
Amazing.
Everyone else had been fired by year 6.
In a way, it's a credit to him because he's so likable that, listen, he's not an easy guy to fire because he's had a lot of success. And frankly, I would want Aaron Boone to be my boss in my industry. I just think he's a humanized guy. He's a human being. You know, right. He's a guy that you could relate to, and you would want to work for him. You'd want to work hard for him and succeed for him. But he has Torrey's temperament and then some, but he hasn't found those human buttons, those right buttons to push in the postseason to get this team over the hump. Joe Torre also had better players. And when people talk about like Aaron Judge having no rings, how many rings would Aaron Judge have if he played with Mariano, Pettit, Clemens, El Duque, Wells, Bernie, Tino, Paulie, Coney? He'd have 3 rings, maybe 4.
Right.
So when they compare Judge to Jeter, it's not a fair comparison. And really the same goes for Aaron Boone, comparing him to Torre. Aaron Boone hasn't had the same level of player, but I still think there's a championship or 2 there he could have won and didn't find the right buttons to push, and that is something that can be certainly counted against him.
Well, the one thing that we're talking with Ian O'Connor of The Athletic here on the show, the one thing that's frustrating to me in evaluating Boone, and I think Boone does a good job, is that we don't know. No, I think it will be shrouded in secrecy all the time. How much is collaborative? How much is it dictated from computer printouts, stuff like that, before the game where they script out certain things? I think he makes the ultimate decision, but it's on information that's handed down from the smart people upstairs. So how much blame goes to him, and how fair would it be to fire him?
That's a great question, and I think you would know this better than I would, obviously, because you're around the Yankees a lot more than I am. But my understanding is you're given this information and instructions. If you deviate from it, if you're Aaron Boone and you decide to go on a gut feel against the numbers, the stats, the analytics presented to you before the game,
it better work.
Then you have to. It better work, and if it doesn't work, you better have a great explanation in defending that move.
Right.
Now, that's my understanding, that he does have that ability, that leeway to go off script, off platform, if you will, and it just better work. So, listen, I think that if he's constantly carrying out orders, then I guess there's no reason to fire him. My suspicion is occasionally he'll go off platform and make a move that goes against the analytics, and it either works or it doesn't. But I also think, listen, after Cashman fired Joe Girardi, Boone became his guy. He does not want to fire Aaron Boone without a ring.
Right.
Joe Girardi did win a ring before he got canned, and I do think he'll get next year and maybe that 10th year. And then after 10 years, if you don't have a ring for the New York Yankees, you can no longer be their manager. And again, I don't care how good you are, how human you are. After a decade, time's up.
All right,
so you've got 1 or 2 more years to get it done.
In terms of rings, in the publishing world, bestsellers are rings. You've had 6 in a row now with your Hurley book that you co-wrote with Danny Hurley. Tell me about the book and what makes it so great. Why is it such a great book?
Thanks so much. It's called Never Stop, and I think Dan Hurley is a very, very compelling character. Back-to-back national champion, had a tough year last year going for a three-peat. I think people who've seen him on the sidelines probably think he's a monster, and he's not. He has a very holistic approach to coaching young men, and the human side of him I talked about earlier with Boone, certainly we bring that out in this book. And I think fans will be shocked, really, to find out that Dan Hurley never screams at his players individually during games. He's a cheerleader. He's a cornerman. In practice, different story, behind the scenes when a lot of people aren't watching. But in games, he is extremely good with his players, supporting them. Now, he'll yell at the officials, obviously, and sometimes an assistant coach or a fan, an opposing fan, the adults in the process. I really appreciate the fact that the way he coaches his players, his kids, they love him. They love him to death and swear by him. They have a really good team this year, a chance to have a dynasty and win 3 out of 4. And anyway, I think he's a very compelling figure, and hopefully sports fans will get a chance to pick up that book.
Well, it's a bestseller right now. Let's continue to make it more of a bestseller, sell more books. And Ian, I always love having you on. Thank you for coming on, and have a good weekend.
My pleasure, Michael. You too.
You got it. That's Ian O'Connor, and read his story today in The Athletic. Coming up, 2-pack for sure. That's when I make my picks. I lost both of them last week, but I had won 4 in a row before that. I've got 2 pretty good ones today. That's coming up in just a moment. Hey, NFL Sundays are coming. You got your crew, your couch, your snacks, your slate, and FanDuel is coming in with something special. This isn't just another NFL Sunday. It's your chance to place that perfect parlay or hit your go-to player prop, and now we're making it even better because this week, FanDuel's bringing the bonus. That's right. Right now, all customers get a 50% profit boost on any NFL bet. However you play your game, FanDuel's got your back with something extra in your account because that's what Sunday should feel like. Visit FanDuel.com/K to download the app and get in on the action before kickoff. 21 plus and physically present in New York. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Score a win this game day with Amazon Pickup, the MVP of package pickup. Need that new football jersey for the big matchup? With Amazon Pickup, you can collect your order from secure Amazon lockers or counters near you on your schedule. Whether you're running from work or home or straight to the tailgate, Amazon Pickup makes it easy and worry-free at no extra cost. Don't miss kickoff. Grab your gear and your packages when it works for you. Find your nearest Amazon Pickup location at amazon.com/pickupmvp. That's amazon.com/pickupmvp.
At City Harvest, we believe no New Yorker has to go hungry. With your help, we're on the road 365 days a year, rescuing over 77 million pounds of nutritious food and delivering it free to millions of New Yorkers, transforming surplus food into sustenance, sustainability, and smiles, rallying thousands of New Yorkers to power a network of nourishment across our city. One day, one meal, and one New Yorker at a time. That's how we feed good. Donate at cityharvest.org.
There's nothing the voice in our head obsesses over like our health. But with over 100 lab tests and insights, Function can help answer the questions like, why am I so tired all the time? How can I get better sleep? My friend was telling me about magnesium gummies she takes. How do I even know if my heart is work stress affected? It's time to up my cardio. If my mom has something, how will I find out? It's time to get some blood work done. A Function membership gives you a comprehensive health check with results tracked over time. Find out what you're made of at functionhealth.com.
The Association on Aging in New York is celebrating the 60th anniversary of the Older Americans Act, which funds vital programs for millions of older adults. Services include meals, transportation, home care, Medicare counseling, case management, and caregiver support. Today, people are uncertain whether some programs remain available. We can help. To learn more about these essential programs and how to keep them, visit our website at agingny.org. Sponsored by the Association on Aging in New York.
Ballybet Sportsbook. Yo, Ballybet stacked for football season. When it comes to sportsbook apps, it's undefeated. Ballybet. Check out that brand new parlay zone. Here's the kickoff. Build your bets and place them right on your phone. What? Live bets, daily boosts, and promos. Increase your odds so you can win more dough. Touchdown! Ballybet's the play. Make game day more fun and download it today. Must be 21 plus, New York only. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY. Ballybet Sportsbook and Casino.
Download it. Getting the right mattress helps you sleep at night. Getting the right price helps you sleep even better. At PC Richard & Son, they don't just sell you a mattress. Their experts use a 4-step fitting process to make sure your new bed fits you perfectly. The right fit, the right price, plus free delivery. It's what they do, only at PC Richard & Son. Free delivery on mattresses $199 and up. Excludes Manhattan. See stores for details.
Just printed from the Erie Canal Press, the most coveted ticket, New York Lottery's $1 million raffle, hath arrived. 15 fortunate souls shall come into the fortune of a millionaire.
Translation, the $1 million raffle is here, and 15 winners are going to become millionaires. The New York Lottery commemorates 200 years of the Erie Canal with your best odds of winning $1 million. Limited tickets available. Ask your local retailer today. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
That's the ease at which you get information. You want it, you get it. Like that. Ask your phone. Group chat. Smartphone. You're always connected and informed in real time. No waiting. So if you're diabetic and still using finger sticks to read your blood sugar, what are you waiting for? Knowing your blood sugar levels instantly is important for managing diabetes. Call US Med at 888-665-0696. To learn more about continuous glucose monitors, a real-time instant method to track your blood glucose, US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 1,000 private insurers. And the best part? Call 888-665-0696 and we'll give you a free insurance benefits check today. So call 888-665-0696 today. That's 888-665-0696 and manage your diabetes as easy as...
In the city that never sleeps and never stops talking sports, ESPN New York is always on. Now you can live and breathe everything New York sports wherever you are. On your radio dial, on the ESPN New York app, and streaming live on YouTube. However you watch or listen, ESPN New York is always on for you. Hear us, stream us, watch us. This is ESPN New York.
Oh, yeah, it's time for two-pack, for sure. I give you my two picks that I feel comfortable with. Now, you have to decide, do I want to ride with Michael or do I want to ride against him? Either way, it's an opportunity for you to make some money or lose some money. I do not recommend betting alongside me. Now, for 2 weeks, if you did, you'd made a lot of money. I was 4-0, but last week, 0-2. So I've got to bounce back. It's important for me to bounce back because I have an ego. I have a very, very big ego, a fragile ego too. So when I don't do well at something, I'm crushed. It ruins my day because I've let you down. I don't want to let you down. Here we go. Give me the Patriots over the Saints. They're only 3.5-point favorites, the Patriots. And the Saints, they beat the Giants, but they ain't all that. They're a bad team. And I think that Mike Vrabel has turned the Patriots into a much better team than they were last year. They're tighter. They're more disciplined. And I think Drake May is emerging as a really good quarterback. Now, I know the game is in New Orleans where the Saints beat the Giants, but I don't believe that the Saints are going to beat the Patriots. I think 3.5 is a really low number. I see the Patriots winning this one by a touchdown, 10 points, something like that. I think they should cover easily over the 3.5. So give me the Patriots. I'll give the 3.5 to the Saints. That's my first of my two-pack for sure. Number 2, the Steelers had a bye. They're out in Europe. They beat the Vikings, came back, and they chose to have the bye right after that. Some teams choose not to do that. And they'll be playing the Browns. So the Browns no longer have Joe Flacco. They have a kid playing quarterback. There's a 5.5-point spread in this one. Steelers are the favorites. The game is in Pittsburgh. And I think the Steelers are going to be all over Dylan Gabriel, all over him. So I think the whole Brown situation is messed up. It looked like Shedeur Sanders was going to be the guy who would be the backup. But he's not. They're still going to keep him as the number 3. And they took a guy from the practice squad and moved him up to number 2. So there's so much dysfunction there. Give me the Steelers and good old Aaron Rodgers, and I'll give the 5.5. So those are my two picks. Patriots minus 3.5 over the Saints, and the Steelers minus 5.5 over the Browns. Now, as for the Jets, Broncos are 7.5-point favorites over the Jets. Tell me how the Jets are going to win this game. How? I mean, maybe the Browns will look at it as a letdown. I don't know. Or look past them. But I don't think you go to London to lose a game. And the Jets haven't shown me anything that they're going to be able to hold down the Broncos. And the Broncos have a great defense, which should be able to really hold down a suspect Jet offense. So that's not my two-pack. But if I was betting the Jet game, I'd bet against them, and I'd give the 7.5 points with the Browns. All right, so if I could give one bit of advice to Cam Slitler, stop arguing with trolls on the internet. Stop it. You're only going to get yourself into trouble answering them back. And then when you answered one punk back, he said, oh, you got a real life arguing with an 18-year-old. See, that's what they do. They draw you in. They say something nasty to you, so you feel compelled to answer back, and then their go-to is, oh, look what a loser you are. You're arguing with me. Well, aren't you a loser for even engaging then? Cam, don't get down there. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. You're a New York Yankee. You had a great postseason. You have a really good career ahead of you. Don't argue with trolls. You'll only lose. Once you get in the mud with them, you're only going to roll around. And when you roll around in the mud, you're dirty and you're going to smell. You don't deserve it. They're trying to goad you into saying something that's going to come back to bite you. Don't allow it to happen. And my advice to the Yankees would be to talk to Schlittler and say, knock that off. It doesn't behoove you, and it's not going to help you at all. Because this is what they want. They want to draw you in. And then when they draw you in, they act like they're the aggrieved party. Oh, look, you're picking on an 18-year-old. Go away, little boy. So Cam Schlittler, you're better than that. Don't answer trolls on X, Instagram, whatever. Just do your thing. You had a great postseason. You should revel in that. All right, coming up, Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg, so stay tuned for that. 1 o'clock, we'll be back with you on Monday. Looking forward to that. Another great 10 hours this week. And in the words of Billy Joel, life is a series of hellos and goodbyes. I'm afraid it's time for goodbye again. See everybody, and we'll talk to you on Monday.
To help those who want to be helped, but may not be